I am infatuated with stuff that's retro. And yeah, I used to have a Fuji X100 series camera, and there was a lot of hype around it and everything. And I ended up selling it, and then kind of regretting selling it. And then I ended up purchasing a couple other little cameras. I got this little Canon that was kind of retro, but not really. And I went through an old box and I found an old Leica that I had. This is like a 11-year-old camera. I've been shooting with this a lot lately, and it still does great, you know. But one of the things that I really liked about the Fuji series is their film simulations. And the film simulations were very specific to the Fuji system, and they're great, but you know, maybe what if you wanted some Kodak film or this or that? You know, you were a little limited to the Fuji world. So having said that, I would say there's got to be a lot of software out there that will emulate this. I know with my iPhone, there's all kinds of film simulation software out there, and it works pretty decent, stuff like that. And I actually had a software company that I'm not going to announce because I didn't ever get to use their software, reach out and want me to review their product, and they wanted to sponsor me and whatnot. And the unfortunate thing is I installed their software and it just didn't work on my computer. It would just crash. And I tried many different things with it, and I tried it on 2 different computers, and I had similar problems. So I kind of ditched it, and I forgot about it. And then I used some plugins from a company called DxO. They have a lot of different plugins that are very retro inspired. I've talked on this channel a few times about Nik effects, and you know, I gotta say, you know, I've never been disappointed with their stuff. This video is not sponsored by DxO, but they did send me over their latest versions of Nik effects and a few other things, and they have a new piece of software that I've never used before called FilmPack 7. Sorry, I had to look just to make sure I didn't say the wrong thing. And I gotta say, it is amazing, and I would love to show you what it can do now. And I'll put up an affiliate link. I haven't set it up yet, but by the end of this video, I'll try and get it all set up. If you want it, you could download a free sample. You could use it for 30 days. And if you do like it, you could use my discount code and save some money. I'll get a little credit. It'll all be good. Let me just move this camera right over here. And right up here on camera, we got a picture of my wife with her eyes closed. It's very snapshotty. This is something we did just downtown. And this is all the B-roll stuff. So the stuff that didn't make the list of keepers. Having said that, you know, my wife would still like to have these, and we could make a little scrapbook or whatever. So I opened it up in Photoshop. I did some real basic updates on here. My wife has a little scar here on her forehead that I'll remove, and a couple just little things, but I didn't want to Photoshop this out. I didn't want it to be a highly edited photo, because what I want to do, and I'm going to go up to DxO Labs, I just freshly installed the sample on this computer. I haven't even played with it at all. This is the first time. We will all get to experience it together. I'm just going to hit try demo. And so we just got to wait for it to come up. And this is what you guys will see. It'll say DxO FilmPack, and it'll give you a little ad here. I'm just going to close that down. So it's going to open up in this main window, and you'll see to the right, there's all kinds of presets already there. And these presets are great. They are so close to like old school film, and they are named accordingly. You know, if you want ACFA APX25, I could click on that, and it'll give you a little rundown if you want. And you could, you know, compare it. Maybe you didn't want as much contrast, so you go to this one. Maybe you want a little bit of silver max action. Anyway, you get the idea. It's click and go. Maybe you want to stick with color, but you want more of that retro vibe, which is what I always want, is that real retro look. You know, if it's supposed to look like film, it shouldn't look crisp and new like a digital file. So, but here we go. Here we're getting into the Fuji stuff, and let's see. There's Ilford. This one's always nice, and I like this. This nice black and white Ilford 400. And what you can see if I zoom in, or if I compare normal to that, you can see a little bit of film grain in there. Ektar is a good one. And you can see with one click, you can change the look. It's much like a preset in Photoshop or Lightroom, but they are spec'd out for specific types of film. If you like Portrait 400, you'll notice it's a little brighter, and you can just keep going through all this however you want. Old Polaroid style, and just keep going. So here we go. We're back to some Fuji, and a big one, which I know they have simulated on a Fujifilm camera, is Fuji Provia 100F. So if you don't have a Fuji camera and you don't want to spend a few $1,000s trying to get one on eBay, you could get this software, and with one click, I'm just going to click on the Provia 100, and I'm going to hit customize now. And here's where things can get very interesting. You could customize it so you could do your basic edits and stuff in here. I think the photo's edited fine because I want it to look more like a snapshot, but maybe you want to add, boost up certain luminosities. You can do all that. This is very much like having Lightroom at your fingertips right here, all within this program. But here's what's really cool. Maybe I want to add a frame around it, and I'll click frame, and there's just massive frames in here that you can choose from. Now I like kind of a basic frame, but let's say I want it to be that old vibe where it looks like it's going into a photo album. I'm going to click on that, and here it instantly will put that around there to give it that vibe. If I wanted some texture involved, I could add some texture, like it's printed on specific paper. I'm just going to do some with some stains so you could kind of see, like it's very old and retro. And here we're going to compare. Like, that's out of the camera. That's with a little bit of just, like it's been worked over just a little bit. And it's ready to go in a photo album. I'm going to hit save. And that's it. That photo, boom, is done. So here's before, here's after. Very subtle. But if you zoom in, there's texture in her face, like old film would be, it's got the film grain. It's just fun. So now I took this picture that wasn't a keeper, and I kind of made it like part of a series. If I do 4 or 5 more non-keepers, and then put them in like an album, like 4x6s, and then maybe do an 8x10 of one of the keepers, I could create a story and a movement for my clients. I really think that's really an awesome feature. And what's cool is you could take pictures that maybe you wouldn't really have a lot of love for, and you could make those start to tell a story and pop, and then you're getting more bang to your clients for their buck, and it took seconds to do. Maybe you didn't think about having that retro look on the day of the shoot. Maybe your client said, hey, I really like this look, and now you have the ability to do that. You do it with black and white, you could do it with all types of color film, infrared. I mean, the sky's the limit. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to kind of do an old, like black and white snapshot, kind of take this back in time even further. So we could do kind of this Eastman, which is based off of Eastman Kodak. And you're going to get almost that sepia look. That's got a cool vibe to it. Or even the Fujifilm, like since we're talking about Fujifilm stuff, you could go to the Fujifilm with a red filter, and it's going to give you a really nice soft look. Again, we could compare, straight out of the camera to there. You could do Fuji monochrome, has a little bit more contrast. We're going to go up a little. I like the acros or acros. And you can choose, like, do you want it to be more contrast with the reds that are in there? I know it's black and white, but back in the day, they used to put a red filter or a yellow filter or a green filter on to get different looks. If you did green, or you could just do straight acros. I probably like with the red filter. I think it makes her skin very soft. And here's the deal, though, is I like grain on black and white filters. So I'm going to go back over to customize, and we'll just scroll down. And you can also add light leaks and stuff like that. Like your camera lens wasn't as good as you wanted, but we'll do texture. I'm gonna do paper grain 1, and I'm just gonna zoom in so you guys can see here. This one might be a little much, like, and I think it is. I think this one is a little too retro, so maybe. That one's not bad. Gets a little bit of damage on the film too, which makes it look even better. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and say that looks good to me. I'll do that, but I'm gonna click on Creative Vignetting and just play with some of these vignettes. So I could go uber white if I wanted, or I could go black, and I'm gonna set the center right in there. So now what's happened here is it's really vignetted in. Okay, so after you apply that, then you can go in and add a frame like what I liked. And I'm just gonna do something a little bit better than just white. I'm gonna do just a film edge. And that goes, oops. What's cool is you can change the size of the edge so you can really, make it your own. So I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna change it one more, just make it look like it's a little damaged, and we're gonna call it good. So I'm gonna hit save. And there I have my picture. I also have a quick little thing that I could cover in another video that has nothing to do with the software, but I've made my own white borders as well. A little action, you click on it, and there we go. So this would be my finished product, to where this would go in another little 4x6 type of setup for filler in a book for a client. I really like this. It looks very retro. If I zoom in, the film grain is very, very close to what I remember film grain to being like. The little damaged edges give that retro effect. Don't like those, you just turn them off. It's no big deal. But the colors, whether it be black and white like this or color like that, the colors just look right. They look like old film to me, old scans. And this software allows you to customize your look however you want. If you have a look that you're looking for, a certain film, and you don't have a film camera, or you don't have a camera that does film simulations or LUTs or whatever, I highly, highly, highly recommend this software. It's not very expensive. You can get 30 days for free to try it out. There's not going to be any watermarks or anything like that with your stuff. And it just looks great. I've played around with it for just a couple of days just to kind of see what I could do. And it's inspired me to want to go look at my old photo shoots with clients and try to salvage maybe pictures that I didn't like very much. Maybe I changed the crop on them a little bit, changed the film look, and I could salvage some old looks, or I could tell a better story than what I originally thought I could, because now I could introduce that retro vibe. It's all the rage right now to go out and buy the latest Fuji camera with film simulations. Leica is doing it now as well. Lumix and a few other companies are starting to do the ability to add these looks and bake them right into the picture. But what if you change your mind afterwards? You're like, you know what? I wish I wouldn't have shot in black and white. I should have shot that in color. Well, now you have the ability to just click, use your raw pictures, click, and it's faster and easier than a preset, and it's all labeled out to where you know exactly what you're looking for. It's not like your Joe Schmo's favorite set simulating this. This is Agfa, this is Kodak, this is Ilford, this is Fuji, Provia, so on, etc. It's all set up just for you. You could change it at will if you decide, I actually like it in color. I don't like this black and white film. You just click over to a different one and you can simulate it. It takes seconds to change your mind and really tailor your look. The only downside is there's a lot of choices, so you might be stuck in the program for a while until you find your vibe and your look. I really like this, guys. Like I said, I'm not getting paid for this, but they did give me the software to play around with. I love it. They have some other software that I'll show in future videos. And this is it. This is where you can take those and bring them up to kind of some banger looks. So thanks for tuning in. That's it. I just want to give a quick little show of this FilmPack software. It's FilmPack 7. I'd never used it before. I'd used some of their other software, and I've always loved the DxO stuff, but I gotta say, this stuff is on another level. It's simple. It's all the rage right now as far as those film looks, and it's not baked into your image. It's not a JPEG out of your camera. You can still shoot raw and still have that simplicity. I love it. That's it. Later, Gator.